Okay. Listen, I recognize the lighting is not the best. If you are watching this video online, some things just didn't work out as planned. Yeah, I'm like literally looking like, but the podcast has started. Hello. My name is Nicole-Bethany. Can we start over, please? Hey there, my name is Nicole-Bethany, and welcome to the Freshman Adult Podcast. You made it. It is August 8th when this is premiering, 2025, and I am so excited and proud of myself for doing this and for making this happen. Of course, I'm recording this in advance, and so future you that watches this, future Nicole-Bethany, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for going for it. And finally doing what is in your head. You ever just do what's in your head? Like, you ever just not do what's in your head? That's what I meant. I have a lot of ideas in my head, and this is one of them. And oftentimes it'll just stay in my head. But an idea needs to become actionable. It cannot stay an idea, or else that is just a dream. But for it to become reality, we have to put in the work, and we have to actually allow ourselves to try. So this is me trying. And speaking of trying, this is the podcast perfect for those that are willing to try. So first of all, I'm just being vulnerable straight out the gate. I am just like you. Those of you that are watching, I'm just like you. I learned a lot over the past couple of years, but I am also still learning. And so that's why I figured, you know what, we should have a podcast, because we can then get the opportunity to learn together. Okay, so again, my name is Nicole-Bethany. I'm your host of the Freshman Adult Podcast, and I just want to share a little bit about this podcast, what you're going to be getting yourself into, and why you should stick around, why we should probably get a little more acquainted as we journey through this class. First of all, I just want to say welcome to you. Welcome to you who has tuned in, whether you're watching on YouTube, watching via audio on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm so excited to be here and be in your ears or in front of you, because really this is like, you know, when they have those, you know, in school, when you're going to school, you have orientation. This is orientation. That's what this episode is. This episode is orientation. This is orientation. We're not going to be doing work. We're not going to be getting into the deep nitty gritty, but I'm going to give you an overview. And I want you to think about me as like your TA. Okay. Like the teacher's assistant is a teacher. All right. Like, I do have a gift to teach. So there will be teaching. Right. I love sharing and giving people advice. That's me. Right. That's a little bit about me. But I'm the assistant still. Why? Because I'm still learning. I am not an expert at being a freshman adult. I just want to say I'm not an expert in adulthood. I just want to say that too. So as I'm here and I'm speaking with you, I want to invite you to really just be in class with me. There are going to be moments where we're going to be talking, and it's going to be like study session. We're going to be doing our homework. Like, I'm very, very excited about just the possibilities of, you know, what we can build together in this community. So I want to just share, because you might be like, what even is the freshman adult? What is this? You know, what does it mean? And I think this description does it justice. So I'm going to read. It says, the Freshman Adult Podcast, right? This podcast breaks down the do's and don'ts of this new chapter. Join us as we share unfiltered experiences, advice from experts. Excuse me. I just said I'm not an expert. Advice from non-experts. And conversations about the messy but essential lessons every freshman adult needs to hear. Spoiler, No one has it figured out. Like, I don't have it figured out, guys. Okay. And because I don't have it figured out, I want to just share too that this is just raw, unfiltered truth of starting adulthood and continuing. I want to lean in there. Like, this is about this podcast is for the one who's just starting adulthood and for the one that is making a commitment to continue. Nicole-Bethany, what do you mean by making a commitment to continue? Well, adulting is hard. And the reason why people give up on life is not because they're melodramatic and they have nothing better to do. It's because there are this school of life. If we were to take and consider school to be life, I mean, life to be school, this big school that never ends, there are some classes that are really tough. There are some extra classes that I'm being forced to, some of us have been forced to take or will be forced to take that we did not sign up for. You know, you don't sign up for losing your job class 101. You don't sign up for the class of losing a loved one for the first time. You don't sign up for having kids for the first time. You don't sign up for losing and breaking up with friends that you thought were your homeboys or your girls, right? But there are unexpected, and the list goes on. There are so many unexpected lessons that we get. But they're from classes that we literally didn't sign up for. Like, I signed up to go to college. I signed up to go to high school. I signed up elementary. No, I had no choice. But I made a decision to go to high school, right? That's why I went to the high school I went to. I put that on my list. The college that I went to, I made my list. I took those SATs. I took my ACT. It was rough, but I did it by the grace of God. You know what I mean? I decided to major in what I majored in. I majored in acting. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in acting and writing and a minor. I minored in writing for television and film. And those are two of my passions. I'm just anything artsy, anything entertainment wise. That is who I am. I love telling stories. I'm a professional storyteller. And I also am a theater educator. I don't know how I just got into the spiel, but I say that to say those are all things I signed up for. I signed up to do those things, even to teach. I signed up to do it. At first, I was like, wait a minute, I feel kind of forced, right? But then I leaned in and decided to go further. But some of us can really say like, no, like I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for this experience that I'm experiencing. And that is exactly why this podcast is important. Because there's pressure, I feel, in adulthood to have it all together. And I want to kind of just break that, right? Like, can we dismantle the pressure or the unknown pressures or the unspoken pressures of having it all together while being vulnerable in that unknown, in that middle place, the middle place of not knowing what's next, the middle place of not really understanding, the middle place of asking questions. And I want this space, I imagine this space being a place where you and I are talking, or a guest is talking, and we're having conversations about things you literally complained about that week or things you wish you knew. You know what I always hear people say? I always hear people say, man, I wish I knew, or if I had known, or I wish they taught this in school. I wish that everybody wants, I wish they taught, you know, a popular one. I wish they taught this in high school, in college. I wish they taught taxes in college. And that's what it is. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. They should have. Some of y'all are like, they did. I took the class because you signed up for it. But some classes should be required. And there are some life classes that are absolutely a requirement, whether you knew it was on the syllabus or not. So what I would like is for this space to be a place where, man, we can have conversations and I can give you, some of y'all, a heads up. on what is on the syllabus so that you can be prepared. Things that I didn't know about. And then for the most of us, we just have a study group. Like, so what class am I supposed to be taking? Oh, I should drop this class, add that. And for my friends that haven't, that are not in school, I still want this place to feel like a place that you can also relate. So even if you didn't go to school, you didn't go to undergraduate, you don't go to undergrad, or you didn't go to high school, that's totally fine. Your voice matters too, and I want to speak to you and your experiences as well. I have friends that didn't go to a conventional schools, and they are navigating adulthood in their own way. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what path you take. We all end up at a certain age. We all end up in the same school, and it's called life. And that's why this podcast is so important to me. Yeah, that's really it. Like, I also think about the one that's also ahead of me, like presently, that may feel themselves like they are a freshman adult, like they're still learning, but also at the same time, like, have walked through certain classes I haven't been to. Like let's say motherhood is a class, because it is a long class, by the way, with different levels. Mm-hmm. I've never been in that class. I've been near the class. I've been around the class. I'm getting very close to the age where I have my closest friends are very close to that class. But I've never been in that class. Marriage. I'm single. I'm not married. I've never been in a marriage class. As in the class, not the class that teaches you about marriage. I'm talking about the class that that like you just in because you married now. That's what I'm talking about, right? But I've been in the college class. I've been in dating class. I've been in moving out on your own class. I've been in experiencing seasons of grief and depression class. What classes have you been in? What classes? I want you to think about that. What classes has life, whether voluntarily or involuntarily, have you had to go through so far? Because being a freshman adult is not about age. It's not about even, how you look or what a certain what I'm trying to say is, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if there's a certain experience you don't have, there's no experience that would disqualify you from being a freshman adult. And that's kind of when I go in, what I want to go into in our first topic for today episode is, who is a freshman adult? If you follow me on social media at the Nicole-Bethany, you will find a video where I ask what people hear when they hear the word freshman adult or hear the phrase freshman adult. I got a lot of really great responses. Thank you so much for those of you that commented, did your homework. Yeah, we're going to have homework. We're going to have homework. And extra points to the people that, did their first assignment. But my point is that going through those comments and just looking at all of you guys and just all of the different things that you either want to hear about or things that you think about when you hear freshman adult, I want to provide clarity and context for who the freshman adult is. Okay. So 2 things. I'm a freshman adult, and I'm a freshman adult because I have never been an adult before. That's it. And I think if you qualify and can say that you've never been an adult before, then that is what a freshman adult is. It don't matter if you're 20 or if you're 30 or if you're 40. I think being in my 20s, there's a certain newness to this that makes starting this podcast in my 20s very fitting. And there are going to be specific conversations that I'm having for people who are either approaching their 20s, just starting their 20s, or in their 20s, right? So I don't want to take away the fact that, listen, My grandma, for example, who's in her 60s, has literally lived more life than me. So she is going to be way ahead than me, even if there are things she's never experienced before in this current season of her life in her 60s, which still qualifies her to be a freshman adult because she's never been 60 something before. I'm not going to say her age on camera, but she's never been this age before, which qualifies her to be a freshman adult. However, it doesn't minimize. Sorry if I'm banging the mic. It doesn't minimize her being an elder in my life, her being a wise voice in my life. That's a topic that I really I want to talk about, like wisdom and whom to receive wisdom from and whom to not. Right. And so those that are in, further along in the freshman adult experience, maybe I don't even know how we're going to say it. I think we'll just figure it out on the way. Maybe y'all can help me. But like, as we move forward in this freshman adult class, there are some of y'all that are absolutely further along. And there's nothing wrong with being a freshman. There's nothing wrong. I don't know yet. At this very current moment I'm recording this, I don't know if there are sophomores, junior, and senior adults. I don't know. Because the whole point of being a freshman is you've never experienced freshman year before. If you go to college, you go to high school, you've never experienced that before. And when you think about life, you go through stages of life. There are some things, even just age. If we just talk about age, there's no age you've ever experienced before. But now there are some classes you've experienced before. So maybe, oh my gosh, this is just popping up in my head right now. Maybe part of being a freshman adult is maybe you can be a freshman adult in certain things and maybe maybe a sophomore in certain things. So for example, immediately what comes to mind, I think about my mom. My mom is the oldest of 5. And so I have like a good number of aunts and uncles, and she had kids before all of them. Now she has the experience of having kids and having to raise them. And now, my brother and I, like, we're becoming grown. Let me say that. We're not grown yet, but we becoming, I'm grown. Watch out, well, I'm grown now. I am. But I'm still growing. It's fresh. It's a freshman. It's fresh. Okay. Now, someone in my, one of my peers may, get pregnant and now just be starting the class called motherhood. My mom has done that class before. My friend may not have. My mom may still feel like a freshman adult in certain areas of her life, but she may not feel like a freshman adult in motherhood because she's done it not once, but twice. So maybe by the third time, she's a junior in that class. But overall, she's still able to embrace certain areas of her life where she's a freshman adult. I'm speaking in hypotheticals, but I'll speak for myself now. And I'll just say, I have been, for example, a student before. I have navigated that. I went through years of that. I did it 4 times, which qualified me to become a senior in that class. In that graduating class. And I graduated. And I do think that there are things that we go through in life where we do experience some sort of graduation. But how this whole topic and conversation around the freshman adult experience and what I was thinking when when the idea came to me was that when I graduated school, I thought that was it. I knew there would be things I had to learn, but I didn't realize how it would feel and how it would make me feel. And one day I realized I feel like a freshman all over again. One day I realized after my story very briefly is I got a really exciting work opportunity for my career as an artist. I got the opportunity. I was selected for this really great artist employment program. So right out of school, I moved out of my parents' house, and I moved to a new city. And I also moved to a new city because God called me to move there. The job was like the after like the confirmation, like, yes, I did say that. Long story short, I moved to a new city and I have a new apartment for the first time. And I'm like 22. Like, I did not even know that, like, this was even going to happen to me at 22. I never imagined that I would be by myself at 22 years old, learning how to do life on my own. I didn't realize that could happen so quickly. I always imagined it would be around now. Now I'm 25 years old. I thought it would happen around now, but it happened earlier. And was I prepared? No. There's just some things you don't really prepare for. Like, could I have been prepared? Yes. Was I prepared mentally? Yes. Spiritually? Yes. Practically, a lot of things, no. And that's okay, because that's a part of the school. But I didn't realize that I was still going to school. In my head, I thought that it would be a lot like what I had last experienced. And I disqualified myself from embracing the fresh nature of what I was experiencing for the first time. And that's why this podcast is so important for adults, because I think if I can, I'll speak for myself, humble myself to a place where, you know what? Yes, I've graduated from some things, but there are a lot of things that I have not graduated from. And some of us are in the middle of things, right? We may not even feel like we're freshmen anymore, but we definitely haven't graduated. But there are going to be things that life throws at us or that we experience that will require us to embrace that freshman year feeling of not knowing what's going on, of not understanding what's taking place, of not really, or of just failing, like straight up, like just failing. Like I fell on my face so much. I came to know myself. Y'all remember, like, for those of you that went to school or high school or college, freshman year, whether it's high school or college, because honestly, they're very similar. Both those experiences, y'all remember just feeling like, man, I don't know where anything is. I don't know anyone. If I have a friend, we cool, but like, we don't got the same classes. I'm trying to figure out what class you in. I'm trying to figure out where to go. Some of us felt very vulnerable, very, very uncomfortable. Some of us started to learn things about ourselves. Some of us started to get introduced to things for the first time, learning what we like, what we don't like. What am I trying to say? I think it's possible to graduate from many things in life, but life and adulthood specifically has a way of keeping you in this loop and this cycle of encountering that freshman feeling. And I think if we could embrace that, I think if we could acknowledge that, not only will it help the new adult, because freshman adult doesn't necessarily mean new adult. You can be a freshman adult at motherhood, like I said before. I don't know why that's on my heart, but you could be a freshman adult in motherhood, but you've been an adult for 40 years. But you shouldn't feel upset with yourself that you don't know a lot because you're 40. And that was my problem when I stepped out into adulthood, post grad, like just out there. And I was mad at myself for things. And a mentor of mine was like, Nicole-Bethany, how old are you? And I said, I'm 24 at the time. And she said, yeah. And have you ever experienced what you're experiencing before? And I said, no. She said, yeah. But her point was, stop beating yourself up for things you didn't know. Stop beating yourself up, if you're anything like me, for not knowing what you don't know. My camera's about to die. So this is actually where we're going to pause, and we'll do part 2 of this video. and of this podcast, where we talk more about what a freshman adult is and actually get into, this thought: you're not alone. But I hope so far you felt seen, you felt loved. I'm sorry, this is mad ghetto. Like, my camera's literally dying. So I have to stop the recording. But stick around for part 2 of orientation. That's what I'm going to call it, where we talk about, who is a freshman adult, what is a freshman adult, and why I feel every adult should embrace being a freshman. Again, my name is Nicole-Bethany. I'm your host of the Freshman Adult Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Please give it a 5-star rating, and wherever you're listening, go ahead and like, so that we can share this with other freshman adults like you and I. Follow me at the Nicole-Bethany, and I will see you later. Okay, bye.